Welcome back to Movies TV Mad. You can follow me on Twitter at Movies TV Mad. Yeah, I'm back again. Me bad, soz. You're seeing a lot of me at the moment because since these DC Universe announcements, I'm so hyped and I just want to talk about DC all the time. But I also want to clarify certain situations with you. There's so many things going around my mind, so much information I didn't impart on you, or, my views on this information we got from James and Peter, and I want to impart my opinions on all of this. So they were asked in the press conference about the future of Zachary Levi, Jason Momoa, Gal Gadot, the Blue Beetle situation, and all of this. So I want to clarify this situation. What is the future of Ezra Miller, Gal Gadot, Zachary Levi, and Jason Momoa? Right. I believe that none of these actors will play the main versions of the characters they play now. I believe they will recast all these DC characters. So, Mick, but they said there's a chance for them to be involved in DC Universe. Yes, they did. Merely as cameos, because I think lots of us are very suspicious about the Gal Gadot situation and believe she's out. Now, James Gunn, in response to the Gal Gadot situation, said, I have spoken to Gal and she's interested in doing some things. So that's very non-committal, and that doesn't say she's going to be his Wonder Woman going forward. She's not. I think she can be a multiversal version of this character, and she can cameo from time to time. This is what Peter Safran said. We are interested in using them in the future. We just don't know what to do with their characters right now. We haven't got any plans right now. That tells you a lot. So they're focusing on other characters right now. But I do believe there will be a Wonder Woman film in Chapter 1 starring a brand new actress as Diana and Wonder Woman. And I believe that Paradise Lost, the Wonder Woman prequel show on HBO Max, will be something that builds up this brand new movie, as the Lanterns TV show will be for a Green Lantern movie, also in the second half of Chapter 1. That's what I believe is going to happen. I can't clarify that I've been told this. It's just my opinion from, looking from the outside. Being on the outside, looking in. So no, I don't believe Gal Gadot is James Gunn's and Peter Safran's Wonder Woman. I don't believe Jason Momoa is going to be Aquaman going forward. I don't think Ezra Miller will be the Flash going forward. But in the future, there will be opportunities for them to play other characters in DC Universe or reprise their roles as these characters as multiversal versions of these DC characters. And I think, my friends, this is what's going to happen going forward. But I think we are recasting Aquaman and Wonder Woman and The Flash and Shazam. Now, maybe Zachary Levi's Shazam may remain, but I don't think he'll remain as the main version. I just don't see it. But you never know. Asher Angel is getting older now. That cast is getting older now. They will need to recast anyway, so it comes at a convenient time. Basically, what James and Peter are doing here is basically rebirthing a new universe from the old DCEU. And it's my belief at this moment in time they're going to use the Flash movie to do that. James Gunn said that the Flash movie is one of the best superhero movies he has ever seen. He didn't compliment Shazam! Fury of the Gods, or Blue Beetle, or Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. He didn't compliment any of the other movies, but he complimented the Flash movie as one of the best superhero movies he's ever seen. Of course, there's two reasons for this. There's been a hell of a lot of money spent on the Flash movie, and clearly the Flash movie is very, very important. Now, this is a film written by Christina Hodson. Now, surprisingly, Christina wrote a very good film with, a very good script and story with the Flash movie. I have to give her credit for that. Now, I don't think she's a bad writer. I just think normally her content's middling to May. But this time she did a really, really good job. And I want to apologise to John, one of my subscribers, who came in on my live and said, hey, Christina Hodgson's part of James Gunn's and Peter Safran's new writing team. And I said, no. Grace Randolph said, oh, don't believe her. In fact, it is actually true. She will be part of this team, and I think she will be involved with the Waller project as well. So she's not a bad writer, but she has been involved with some middling to bad projects. But to clarify my position on her work on the Flash movie, I think she did an extraordinary job. So I'd like to congratulate her on that. And you know, maybe that's why she's earned a role as part of this writing team. At the moment, this seems like a really small to medium writing team, but there is a writer's room, and this is a really healthy way to pitch ideas and stories. You don't just want one person just pretty much saying one size fits all, and it looks like James Gunn won't be doing this. He will be listening to the writers as part of his, story team. Because even DC and Marvel have a story team, a writer's room where they pitch ideas and stories for their main heroes. And it's a really good way. A writer's room is a great way. I've been in a writer's room kind of scenario, and it's so healthy. It's a situation where, you could throw out an idea and people say no. And you take it on the chin. You might try and push it, but, and then they'll say, we're moving on from that. And that's how it works. It's a great place full of creative people with no ego. And you can't have any ego in a writer's room. So even though I snapped at John when he told me this bit of news, and I do apologise, John, I'm very passionate about my DC and my entertainment. Got a bit carried away. I was reeling off the information about James Gunn's and Peter Safran's DC Universe announcement, so I got a bit carried away there. So I'm fine with Christina Hodgson being involved as part of this writers' team. So yeah, just to clarify, I don't believe Gal Gadot is James and Peter's Wonder Woman. I don't believe Jason Momoa is going to be the main Aquaman, but he's already said that no one's taking that role from me. But what that could mean is that he's still going to play Aquaman, but just a different version. You never know. He may remain as Aquaman, but it is my hunch that I think he wants a proper recast in this new universe. And it is my theory they're using the Flash to restart this new timeline. I don't think they'll establish too much within the Flash movie, just that a new timeline has been born, and you may see the Earth shining at the end, and it's a new Earth in a way, and that's how the movie ends. Now he's spoken about Blue Beetle being unrelated to the Flash movie, which is interesting. Now he says he's got big plans for Blue Beetle. He's introducing he's introducing Booster Gold in an HBO Max streaming show as well. So I'm excited about the HBO Max stuff. What concerns me is I don't have access, and many people don't have access to HBO Max around the world. So hopefully, like Peacemaker, eventually we get these on physical media, and I'm sure we will. But unfortunately, we are going to be spoiled when these things come out, and we won't have access to them straight away, and that is utterly, utterly frustrating as far as I'm concerned. But hey, I'll take it on the chin. Yes, DC Universe is basically a brand new universe born out from the old one. So why aren't they clarifying directly what their plans are for Ezra Miller, Gal Gadot, Jason Momoa, and Zachary Levi? Because there's 4 DC movies starring these people this year. So they're deliberately giving you as little context on their future as possible, because they're not just going to tell you they're out. So you're not going to hear casting announcements about these actors and these characters' future within DC Universe right now. So, for example, James and Peter's, James said, I've spoken to Gal and she's interested in doing some stuff. And he also said, so she may come back in to DC Universe. May. That's what his words were. That's what I saw on Twitter anyway. May. So it seems a very uncertain future for Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman. Just like with Henry and Ben, he's also confirmed Ben Affleck will no longer be Batman, which we pretty much new, but he has spoken to Ben Affleck about directing some DC Universe content in the future. So is that a token gesture? Will it happen? Well, he could do much worse than, you know, enabling Ben Affleck to direct some DC Universe content. After all, he is an Oscar winner in terms of being a director. So he's a very talented director. So that wouldn't be a bad thing for Ben Affleck to be involved as a creative and a director in DC Universe, and it could appease a lot of the Batfleck stans as well. What am I talking about? Nothing's ever going to appease the Snyderverse stans. What they're saying now is they're underwhelmed by the announcements. Well, the announcements are not supposed to woo you. They're supposed to woo the, you know, the DC stans that felt unrepresented in the DCEU and the general audience who didn't like the DCEU. They brought Access Media to a press conference at Burbank, at the central hub of Warner Brothers Discovery. They schmoozed them, they charmed them. This is a charm offensive, not just for Access Media, but for us. And this is why they will not take any liberties with these DC characters and worlds, well, at least until they become successful and they've got us hooked on this universe. So I expect the castings to be comic book accurate, or at least I hope they're comic book accurate. What DC doesn't need now is any controversy for any shape or form. So that's how I see the future. So sooner rather than later, they're going to have to bite the bullet and tell us the truth about Gal Gadot. Gal Gadot's the one we will get confirmation on sooner rather than later. And I believe this is how they're going to sell the situation to you. With Ben Affleck, they said he could direct DCU content. With Henry Cavill, James said he's discussed him playing another role in DC Universe. And I think with Gal, it's going to be the same thing. They'll either say that her version of Wonder Woman can cameo in the future, or she can play another character in DC Universe in the future. But I believe what's not going to happen is that Gal Gadot, going forward, excuse me, a horrible time to get a cough. I hate Mother Nature. Anyway, yeah, what I don't believe is that Gal Gadot will be James Gunn's Wonder Woman going forward. I don't believe it. I don't believe that's going to happen. So I just thought I'd do a video to clarify what I think. The existing 4 leads have the potential to be involved, you know, in kind of a cameo or a kind of Crisis on Infinite Earths kind of thing, but I don't believe they will be the main versions of Gunn's and Safran's DC Universe characters going forward. And the only reason they're saying there's a potential and a possibility for them to continue is because their movies are coming out this year. So look out for the Gal Gadot announcement and the Wonder Woman future casting. They're going to recast Wonder Woman. I'm absolutely sure about that. I think Gal is an outstanding Wonder Woman, but it is what it is. They're going down a new direction. They want a new identity. They want to cast younger characters. Dave Bautista spoke about this, and I think that Dave Bautista was absolutely spot on. That's why he said he won't be playing Bane, because he's too old to play Bane now, but he would like to play Lex Luthor. I mean, I'm sure he would be great, but he's not really my idea to play Lex Luthor. Someone threw a brilliant idea to me yesterday, Zachary Quinto, one of my favourite actors in Hollywood today. He would be an outstanding Lex Luthor. So let's just jump to certain situations that are still there from the old regime, like the Black Superman movie from J.J. Abrams and Ta-Nehisi Coates. Now, this will be part of the DC Elseworlds, as is Reeves' Batman, the Batman universe, and Todd Phillips' Joker, and Joker Folie à Deux, the Joker sequel from Todd Phillips starring Joaquin Phoenix and Lady Gaga. So what James and Peter have said there is that it's in active development. Now, that's a really interesting term in Hollywood. I know this term for content and projects that never see the light of day. It's pretty clear they're not willing to say that this film is not happening at the moment. What this tells me is that Ta-Nehisi Coates is rewriting that movie and he's going to repitch that movie. I expect they're pretty much going through the motions, being respectful, because J.J. Abrams probably has had a word in their ear. I expect them to reject it in the end. But who knows? It may actually happen. But I don't expect the Black Superman movie to happen. I just don't see how James Gunn says, yes, you're doing a Black Clark Kent movie, considering we're getting a Clark Kent in a brand new Superman movie, which is going to be releasing in 2025. I think it's July the 11th to be accurate on that. Really exciting. So I don't see them doing, I mean, they could do an Elseworld Black Clark Kent. And I wouldn't be directly opposed to that. But ultimately, I feel it's a waste of investment and I don't see the point. But they may have to go with it. But my gut feeling is that Ta-Nehisi Coates is going to pitch something for them. Now, maybe he's rewriting it as a President Superman movie or a Val Zod movie, which I would be very excited about. But ultimately, I think this isn't going to happen. But it's in active development because he's obviously pitching another idea to them. There's also the question mark over who directs Superman Legacy, the Superman film releasing in 2025. James Gunn says he may direct it. This is an interesting one because this is how Christopher Nolan started when we knew he was involved with Man of Steel. Didn't end up directing it. I think to settle the J.J. Abrams situation that they've inherited from Toby Emmerich, I feel that J.J. Abrams could actually direct Superman Legacy. And there'll be lots of different opinions about this. I believe that him merely being a director doesn't hurt anything. And I think J.J. Abrams is a very talented man. When he's a creative, he does a good job. Now, there were problems with Star Trek Into Darkness because it didn't feel like a Star Trek movie. I liked it. I thought it was okay. But ultimately, you know, they tried to do Khan again. And you can't redo Khan. Khan was exceptional in The Wrath of Khan. One of the best sequel second movies ever made. And really, that was a mistake, and I think that's what got them so much hate. But I don't think Into Darkness is inherently a bad film. So I've got a lot of time for J.J. Abrams as a creative. These days, his name's mud, but I think maybe to solve the situation of his outstanding, contract, he's got this huge contract because of the previous regime, and they don't want to give him back. They will want. He won't give them that money back that he's already got for this big deal. So it's a problem. So they're going to want something from him. Now, he was going to write and produce and direct a few DC shows like Justice League Dark and Constantine, where he was looking to cast a Constantine of color. None of that is happening now. They're going to redo that. James and Peter will have their own versions of Constantine. I expect to see Constantine in what's it called? The Thing. What? Swamp Thing. That's it. How can I forget Swamp Thing? It's one of my most excited, anticipated movies in DC Universe. So we're getting a Swamp Thing horror movie. And people saying they're underwhelmed. How can they say that? That's insane. So I think we'll definitely get James Gunn's and Safran's DC Universe version of Constantine in the Swamp Thing horror movie. Really looking forward to that. So, yeah, J.J. Abrams won't have any direct involvement, I feel, in DC Universe, but he could direct the Superman movie, which will upset some and make some happy, maybe, because they have to settle this situation. He's there, but he's not there. They don't want him really touching DC. They don't want to do the Black Superman. So, out of respect, they're going to look at Coates' rewritten pitch for the Black Superman movie, but just because it's in active development, it doesn't mean it's going to happen. I also feel there's a possibility that the Batman 2 could be the culmination of Matt Reeves' vision. They may or may not allow him to do a third movie, but I think it's a third movie, and that's that, if he gets a third movie. I don't think he'll be doing more. I think they want to do the Elseworlds thing, but not necessarily keep on going with Todd Phillips' Elseworlds projects and Matt Reeves. I think, that's kind of something that stepped over from the old regime as well. And Superman and Lois. Now, all these CW shows are being cancelled. So Superman and Lois, they've said they may allow it to go for another season or two. I think they'll allow it to go for 5 seasons because I think they respect what Todd's doing, and James and Peter said it's a very popular show, which it is. But they'll have to label it as a DC Elseworlds, as is everything that's nothing to do with James and Peter's brand new DC universe. And I think what will happen is Superman and Lois will go off the air just before the Superman Legacy movie releases on July the 11th, 2025, because they won't want those things to clash. They'll want their one Superman. So that's how I see all these things happening. You know, it is sad about Gal Gadot, who I believe won't be the main Wonder Woman in DC Universe. But also I'm excited to see who they will cast in that role. No question, Paradise Lost is kind of going to be a lead into the Wonder Woman movie, I believe, that will be announced as part 2 of Chapter 1 of DC Universe, as is the Lanterns HBO Max show as well. I think this is what's going to happen. I do expect the Green Lantern movie and the Wonder Woman movie at some point in Chapter 1 of DC Universe. I think they've already spoken about Wonder Woman being very important, along with Batman and Superman. So they're clearly planning a Wonder Woman movie. But from James Gunn's reactions to questions about Gal, I think, yeah, she's obviously going to be involved somehow, maybe. They're going to have... Look, the one thing they're going to have to tell us about is Wonder Woman's future and Gal's future. They're going to have to do that. Because I think in terms of Zachary Levi, Jason Momoa, Ezra Miller, you know, The Flash, Shazam, Aquaman, they don't have to say anything. Those movies are coming out this year. They don't have to rush and give us, you know, more of those characters' movies in a hurry right now. They've got their plans. They've set their stall out. I think at San Diego Comic-Con, they will unleash Chapter 2, or no, let me say that again, Part 2 of Chapter 1 of DC Universe, and then we'll know maybe the complete picture of Chapter 1. But Chapter 1 may go for a very long time. There may be a lot of projects. So it just may be Part B of Chapter 1, and there's still more projects to come. Who knows? But I do believe by the summer's San Diego Comic-Con, we will know who's playing Wonder Woman, the title of the new Wonder Woman movie, which I believe we will get in Part B of Chapter 1. There's no question they're going to launch a Wonder Woman movie starring a brand new female actor. No question. And the only reason they're not telling you that they're not going to go with Zachary Levi as Shazam and, you know, Jason Momoa as Aquaman and Ezra Miller as The Flash, because they don't want to ruin the potential of these films making as much money as possible. And fans today like a cohesive universe. That's what they're doing. So if they start saying that those actors have got no chance of carrying on as these characters in the brand new DC universe, those films will lose money, because audiences will say, as you lot say to me on my lives, what's the point of going to see these movies? So that's why they're being very quiet and saying, yes, there's a chance of these 4 leads being involved in the future. And I'm sure there is, as cameos, as these versions of these characters, or these actors playing other versions of these DC characters. But I'm pretty confident, at the very least, that Gal Gadot will be recast as Wonder Woman. I've enjoyed her as Wonder Woman, but, you know, James is going younger, you know, more vibrant. This is a 10-year plan. So Gal, obviously, what is she, late 20s, 30, whatever she is, you know, they don't want her to age out of the role. That, you know, because there's a loss of pride with that. We saw that a lot with the original Star Trek cast. They kept on coming back, looking older. And, you know, it's very sad when you see people getting so old they can barely talk or move. We saw that with Dallas and Larry Hagman and things like that when they keep on bringing people back. Also Patrick Stewart, you know, as Captain Picard, he looks so old and so infirm when he talks. Hello, my name's Captain Picard. You know, love him, but there's a time when you have to say pride comes before a fall. So I agree with recasting Gal as Wonder Woman. I believe this is exactly what's going to happen. And when it does happen, here on Movies TV Mad, your #1 place for DC news and views is the first place you'll find out. Please follow me on Twitter. I'm there all day, you know, hashtagging, retweeting lots of DC news and opinions. If you're a Manchester United fan, I retweet and talk about Manchester United as well. For you Americans, that's an English or British soccer team. But we call it football. Your egg-shaped ball isn't a football. You should call it something else. American rugby. It should be called American rugby. But anyway, that's what I'm all about. And I'm here to talk about my beloved DC. So hyped after this first part of chapter 1 being announced. I have so many more views, and I will be back tonight to do a late live video. So look out for that. So this has been Movies TV Mad. I'm Mick, your host with the most. Just ask your girlfriends and your wife. Please like, share, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you never miss this beautiful perfection. And I'll see you again in the next video. Until I see you again, goodbye, au revoir, auf Wiedersehen.